Hey yo, it's Mayo, and we are back. What pa doing some UTAU stuff. Awesome. So this song is by Yui, Yui, and it's called I Remember You. And I haven't ordered the correct bank for this, but Watashine Iranko is here and she's going to sing for us. I think maybe she would be like a really great singer for this if it was a different bank of hers because she has like 20. So basically, all we do right now is I've applied Utalis. So now all we have to do is step one, copy the intensities. Yeah. So let me tell you. I can't remember. There. So let me tell you what's what. Okay, so I was like, break down every day, what the heck am I doing in life? Because I was so far behind. I'm still so far behind. This isn't really changing that. It won't change it until um, this gets uploaded. But yeah, I'm so far behind in like everything. And my blog is the thing I'm least behind in, so I shouldn't have been working on my blog. But I just had to because I was like, no. So when I was working on my blog, I realized, oh my goodness, I am so freaking sick of all of the tester USTs I have. So I thought I need to make a new tester UST. So now let me tell you something. It is painful hard work to make CVVC USTs, regardless of the language. It's just so boring and painful, basically. So, but the majority of the banks I will look at are in fact CV. So I was like feeling kind of like nervous, like, oh my goodness, how am I going to be able to do this? And then finally, I just sat down and I started doing the stuff and I realized something. Oh my goodness, CVUSTs are so easy to make. Because here's a fun thing about CVUSTs. They're sheet music, basically. Like you could pop it into any other thing and it'd be sheet music. CVVC, what's the word? Is different. CVVC isn't just simple like sheet music that you can read in MuseScore, that one MIDI editor I loved so much as a kid. I know I have videos on it on my channel. If I ever really want to remember the name of that software, I just have to look at my channel. But yeah. But with CVVC, it just looks kind of like garbage data. So if I'm using making a CVUST and the vocals don't line up perfectly, it's like you're not trying to copy the vocals. You're trying to make sheet music that will be, am I recording? Yes. I am in fact recording. Like, you're making sheet music. Like, you're not supposed to sit there and actually take all the time and all the effort in the world to make it match up. Because that's not the purpose of the CVUST. So it was just like, bam, bam. You know? So you wouldn't know this because I had already done it before I started the video. Something you might notice is that none of these are should be touching the top of the note. That is not the case when I first ran Utadis. The case when I first ran Utadis was that they were loud. The vocals were loud. But the problem with that is just that setting intensity so high just doesn't sound great with vocal sense. Like, I'm sure no one, like, yeah. If you want your vocal sense to scream at the top of their lungs and you want it to sound really good, don't set this to 200. Set this to 13 and then that at 98 because I don't like leaving 100. The funny thing is that I don't know this song. I just saw that it was like, okay, more advice. So I've got, what? Yeah, I got more advice for you. If you want to do what I'm doing, then there's going to be something that will really help. So for this one, I'm actually not using what I use. I'm not using the melody output as the base for the pitch. I am instead using the actual vocals. And the reason I'm able to do that isn't because I use some fancy software you're not going to be able to get your hands on. It's because when I extracted the vocals, I didn't use the studio album that would play on the radio. I used a track from, what's it called? Unplugged or acoustic album. Since there wasn't much competing with the voice, and I think the algorithms are actually were trained on a lot of guitar, it gets you such good results that you can actually use in Utadis. Not even kidding. But yeah, so I haven't started on the UST for the song that I originally planned to do first. And now it's stuck in my head. The one that I haven't done this stuff for. And that song stuck in my head right now, and it's gonna sound really lame, is Mouse Loves Rice. And it is one of the most ridiculously adorable songs. And it's just like, and the whole point of it is that I love you like a mouse loves rice. And it's funny because in China, mice love rice. Oh, that's cute and rhymes. I was thinking like blee. Mouse loves rice doesn't sound as good as the mouse love. No, that doesn't sound any better. It's just a cultural thing. But I'll tell you, when you think about it, a mouse loving rice makes so much more sense than a mouse loving cheese. Like, I think I remember reading that mice don't actually like cheese. If you give them the option, they will not eat cheese. But the reason that the myth persists that mice love cheese is in fact just because in old cellars and junk, it was just easiest for the mice to access the cheese. But rice is a grain. And you know what little rodents love? Grains. And you might be thinking, but how would they eat the grains? Uncooked rice. I don't know if they'd eat the uncooked rice. But if they did, they have really, really big teeth that they need to wear down. But yeah, so I'm gonna tell you something. I feel like every Western, like, I don't know how to phrase this because I'm pretty sure the moment I say it, I'm gonna think of an example of it not being true. But okay, if you have literally any interest in China, this band name is impossible to Google. It just is. But okay, the band name is S dot period H period E no period, and the song is Superstar. It might be, yeah. I don't know if you can see that writing from there, but yeah. So that song is so freaking cool. And if you're vaguely interested in China, but you really are more into Japan, but it's still cool, you know? Like, if you've got that kind of relationship where you know, like, you know what well I mean me means, but you don't know the tone. And if this sounds like accusatory, no, I'm talking about myself. Like, um, that song just has something that short circuits the brains of people feeling that certain kind of way. And it like short circuits. It is so freaking catchy and I love it. But do not tell do not tell a Chinese millennial who's lived in the West, like, you know, do not tell them how much you love Superstar by, I don't know if they're she or she, but do not tell them how much you appreciate the song Superstar by she, because they will lay into the song and tell you how it's so gross and it's what their uncles listen to. And it's like, and it makes you feel kind of bad for liking it, you know, because it's like, I mean, and it's funny too because it's like, I thought of the analogy, oh, it's like bumping Petulia Clark, or what's her name? Leslie Gore. Like, oh, it's like bumping that, but then it's like, no, that's like old music that's like super retro. Like, Superstar sounds like something recent. It, like, it's way more recent than um, Leslie Gore. But yeah, and saying that, like, you're not gonna get a good reaction if you say that you like Superstar, you will hear some complaints if you mention liking Mouse Loves Rice. Like, they don't. It's it's not a very liked song among the millennials I have gathered. I mean, you're allowed to like what music you like. You know, there's nothing stopping you from thinking that Superstar is definitely a banger. Because it definitely is. It's just, don't be shocked. Like, don't be shocked when you get told, like, ew, gross, that's old people music. Because they're probably going to tell you that. Which is just so funny. It's just so funny to me that you hear, ew, gross, that's what my uncles listen to. Because it's like, oh my goodness, we're going to get to a point. Okay, man, I'm almost 30, and boy bands were popping off when I was young. And I didn't really like the music, but it still made an impression on me because I was a child and stuff gets stuck in your head. Um, I'm old enough to be a parent, and in 10 years, I'll technically, in like a decade, I'll technically be old enough to be a grandparent. Are people going to say that the music I like, ew, that's gross, that's old people music? I feel like that's not as applicable now. Just because I know it's really silly to say. Okay, you might be wondering why I did that. Because that is a very rapid expansion, and I'm like, okay, I think that'd be better if it was just two distinct notes in case someone deletes my envelopes. Please, I'm gonna be silly. This isn't serious. But, like, part of the reason I don't want to finish this UST and share it beyond there being mistakes. You do have UTAU, right? Okay, good. So worried for a second. It's like I put so much time and effort into getting the envelopes right, and then I have a feeling someone's gonna come around and clear out the envelopes. which I can't be too mad about because of the fact that that's what I always did too. And I told everyone, you gotta clear the envelopes, guys. That's the number one part. But now that I'm actually a tuner, I'm like, oh no, don't clear my envelopes. Do you know how hard I worked on my envelopes? I'm just trying to think about what old people music will be like when I'm old. And like if people will be like, ew, gross, that's what my grandmother listens to. Cause like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, I think that's the question I have in my head is what is my generation even what songs are my generation even nostalgic for? Because I kind of noticed something. I was watching an episode of SNL from like 2001. And the band playing was No Doubt. You know, they have a music guest every week. And because it was the 1 hour edit originally for Comedy Central, No Doubt only played one song, and it was Hey Baby, might have been the title. And it was not very good. And I remember hearing it on the radio as a kid and thinking, wowie zowie, this is the best. And then I hear it as a grown adult, and I'm like, what in the heck is this mess? You know what I mean? Like, it's not like my beef with that song is just the fact that what does it mean that a stranger was in her face saying that they knew her mom who went to her high school? Because that's a lyric. There's a stranger in her face who says that he knows her mom that went to her high school. No. And I mean, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying, oh, yay. Let's turn that on. And you know what? Let's see what she sounds like. Is that the correct size that I'm used to? I think so. Well, how long have I been recording? Oh, 24 minutes, cool. Yeah, I'm not like sitting here and being like, oh, music was so much better at some arbitrary point, but I'm like seriously wondering, like, is this music bad? Is this music like not good? Is it just a personal taste thing? Because I remember liking that music when it was on the radio. Because I mean, that's like, I'm just sipping on chamomile. But when I heard it, with probably pretty bad mastering because it was live television, it's so weird and repetitive and unfun. Okay, I'm muting myself.
風はもう冷たいけれど、懐かしい空の匂がしたんだ。ホームから海が見える。この場所で君を探してる。季節外れの咲く頃にあの夏はきっと生きてる。太陽はずっと覚えていたはずさ。ね、聞こえてる。涙は見せないで。君はそう言って。僕たちは二人で送った。さよなら愛はもういい。どこまでも降った夕焼けに消えた夢という
Not perfect, but as long as I can find like 2 to 3 seconds to use as a testing UST on my blog, and completely worth it. But I say that, but I'm not finished. I still have to do the envelopes, but I will see you next. You will see this next week. I lack the ability to watch you watching me, viewers. Yeah, I will. Yeah, I need to do envelopes, but I'm sure I'll have fun doing envelopes. Alrighty, guys. Love you all. Like, comment, subscribe. Bye.